Hey guys, today I am filming a update video. So after what I got from the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty haul, I had it posted in a couple weeks and I didn't realize it had been almost a whole month until I posted a video again, and a ton of you were like, oh yeah, I missed you, I'm so glad you're back, which by the way meant a lot to me. First off, I didn't realize I was gone that long, but secondly, I didn't realize that you guys would notice or you would care, because I'm sure you're all subscribed to a ton of different beauty channels, so that really meant a lot to me and I really appreciate all of your kind words. And I had some people message me on Instagram asking me if I was okay and whatnot, so I wanted to give you like a little update of where I've been, and then I've also got some channel updates as well. So I will start with the life update because it is what's most on my mind. So recently work has just been incredibly stressful. We have one of my coworkers who was supposed to be leaving at the end of the month. We hired a new person to be almost fully staffed. Then that guy just up and left. No 2 weeks, no nothing. We did hire one new case manager. Then another person that was supposed to start ended up going with another company. So we are incredibly overworked right now, right? If you guys are not familiar, I am a case manager at a homeless shelter for families. And we're supposed to have like 5 total case managers, and right now we've got 3. We're supposed to have 8 to 10 families. Right now I have 16. So I'm incredibly stressed out with work. All the clients need a lot of help right now, and there's just not enough hours in the day, and there's only one me. So that has been really stressing me out. I've been going through periods recently where I'm just feeling really depressed. I'm not wanting to do anything, not want to put forth the effort to film or edit or any of that. And I actually have quite a few videos that I've filmed that I just need to sit down and edit and upload and whatnot, so that's good. But yeah, so I've been going through all of that, which is really stressful. And then also, I think it's maybe been about a month or 3 weeks at this point, but Justin and I did have a miscarriage, which was very sad. So I was, I think like 8 weeks along. And so we went to the doctor where I was about 5 weeks. They were not able to see any bit of the baby yet. They were just able to see that sac, and the sac was measuring 5 weeks at that point. And then we waited 3 more weeks to come in when it should be 8 weeks, when we should see a baby, when there should be a heartbeat, everything. So we went in and they could see the sac, they could see that there was a baby there, but there was no heartbeat. And also the baby was only measuring 5 weeks. So we were kind of like, oh, okay, maybe we just did wrong math and we miscalculated my period incorrectly. Maybe I didn't get pregnant during ovulation, whatnot. And she left the room so I could get dressed. She came back and was like, oh, there's a 50-50 chance you guys are going to have a miscarriage, which we did not expect. That surprised us like big time. So we were trying not to stress out about it because we were thinking, okay, we totally miscalculated. That's very weird. There was no baby last time. There is now. But now that I'm thinking about it, like, even though she said that, we can't pick the due date by the sac because that's not the most accurate representation, there should not be 3 weeks of difference between the growth of the baby and that sac. So I should have thought about that then, but I'm just thinking about that now. So I was trying not to stress out, and she, we're saying some of the signs of a miscarriage could be if you have a ton of pain, like cramping pain, or a ton of bleeding, like going through a pad every 2 hours or so, which I thought was nuts, or 2 pads every hour actually, which I was just like, oh my gosh, please don't let that happen to me. That's like such an insane amount of blood. Like, shouldn't there be something before then where you're like panicking? So just kind of told us to monitor it. So I wasn't having any other symptoms. She's like, okay. And then I think it was the next day I noticed a little bit of bleeding. It wasn't a ton, but it was a tiny bit. I know people can spot during pregnancy, so I still wasn't that worried about it, but I did call the nurse at the doctor's office to let her know. And then, it was bleeding a little bit more that day, a little bit more, and then Justin really started panicking and called the doctor, and she said that we could come in right away. So I think our original appointment was on Tuesday, then we went back in for this kind of like pop-in visit on Thursday, and I of course started to panic. I kind of told my boss, hey, I need to go home, I need to go to the doctor, I think I had a miscarriage. So I had already told him I'm just going to be gone for the rest of the day, I'm going to be gone for Friday. see you on Monday. And it was crazy. I had just like left a housing appointment with a client, and I'm sitting here like, please don't bleed all over the place, don't bleed all over the place, because I was just so panicked and so nervous about it. And then, you know, I left work, went to go see the doctor, and it was very weird because she said, oh, you're, you know, in those 2 days, now your baby is 6 weeks, your baby has grown, it's separated from the sac, which is what it's supposed to do, and she could see some sort of like a flicker. And literally Justin was like, almost fainted. He was so freaking excited because we had already been like, all right, let's come to terms with the fact that this is a miscarriage, that this is happening. We can try to like process it before it even happens, just in case. So she was like, you know, don't get too excited. Let's be cautiously optimistic. So I was like, okay, sure. And then she said, I asked her, is the kind of bleeding I have right now okay? And she said, yes, it's just if it's significantly more than that. So then it was Friday. Again, I stayed home from work, so I was just kind of relaxing, sitting on the couch and whatnot. I was bleeding a little bit more. She actually called me and checked in. I told her I'm feeling a little bit of cramping, a little bit more bleeding, but it's still not a ton. And then it was, you know, TMI. If you don't like blood, I'm about to get slightly graphic, so I apologize for that. But then Friday and Saturday especially, we're still just hanging around the house, and I was sitting on the couch mostly relaxing, but every time I stood up I could feel blood just kind of like gushing out. And then it got to Sunday, I was bleeding a lot and I was having a lot of pain. So I'm actually a very lucky person where I have never had cramps during my periods ever. I usually just have kind of heavy bleeding, and then when I started taking birth control it really corrected that. So I have super easy periods compared to other people. So I thought, okay, Heather, maybe you just have no tolerance for cramps because you've never had them. But Justin is sitting here like staring at me, and I was like, oh, my lower back hurts. He's like, that's a sign. So I was having back pain, like abdominal pain, vaginal pain. I know, TMI. Like, this is gonna be so disgusting and so graphic, but I have to explain this to you. Like, I'm a sicko and I just have to explain it to you. So if you guys have ever had a tampon in and you've peed a couple times throughout the day and pee has gotten on a string and it's starting to feel heavy and like it's trying to pull out of you, that is what that pain felt like, but really intense. Like, it really felt like someone's trying to pull a tampon out of me, but of course there was nothing. They tell you not to use anything like that, just to use pads. So it was a very weird sensation. So I was having quite a bit of pain, but it still wasn't super intense. But I'm sitting here like wincing and making faces, and Justin's like, that's it, we're going to the hospital. So we did not go to the doctor's office because, again, it was the weekend, she wasn't there. We did go to our local hospital instead. It was a Nova hospital. It was actually really nice. And there were like 4 people in the waiting room, and of course I just really had to go to the bathroom. So as soon as I went in, I went to the bathroom, and then as soon as I got out of the bathroom, they were like, oh, we're ready for you, we would like your urine sample. And I was like, sorry, I just went, I'll have to get you later. So I did end up doing it later, but they took me back to the room. The doctors were very nice, and then they took me back to, well, you know, I talked to the doctor, I told her what's happening. It's very possible that I'm having a miscarriage, I'm not sure. I've had more bleeding, you know, I'm in more pain, so I wanted to come in. And then they took me back to the ultrasound room, and this is where I'm about to get very graphic, so like fast forward like a minute and a half if you don't want to hear it. So it's like a pitch black room, which surprised me because they do ultrasounds at my OBGYN and the lights are on when I'm there. So that was already kind of weird. I've always, you know, with the stage I was at in my pregnancy, I had to do vaginal ultrasounds, not the ones on the belly. They just couldn't see anything that way because the baby wasn't big enough, I guess. So they were all vaginal. So this lady is in there digging around and, you know, looking at her computer and taking a bunch of pictures. The lights are off and she's not saying anything. So I'm just sitting here and sitting here. And again, this is where I'm about to get graphic. This is probably the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life because I could feel the blood gushing and gushing and gushing out of me. And again, Justin and I had already tried to come to terms with the fact we're having a miscarriage, but it was like I could feel it happening. And it was just like, honest to God, the most awful thing that I've ever experienced. It's just like, I'll never get it out of my mind. I'll never be able to, like, I will always be able to like feel what that felt like. It was so terrible. Just blood was gushing and gushing and gushing out of me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's happening. My baby is dying right now. And so I just like bust out into tears. And Justin was like, what's wrong? And I was just like, because it wasn't hurting, but it was, I could feel it happening. And so that was really awful and really sad. And then she was like, oh, you can, you know, clean up in here. You can go to the bathroom. So I was like, well, I'll go to the bathroom because hello, it's like pitch black in here. And again, TMI, I apologize if you don't like blood. I was in the bathroom for like 10 minutes trying to clean myself up because I have blood down my legs, up my butt, literally all over my lower half. Blood was everywhere. And that, again, sitting there staring at myself in the mirror, wiping off all this blood from my freaking dead baby was so awful. It was so awful. Then, you know, we go back, talk to the doctor again, and she says that it hasn't quite happened yet, but it's going to. That the baby is at the bottom of the uterus instead of up where it's supposed to be, and basically she said that I'm going to be having a lot of blood, and then I'm going to pass some sort of tissue. So here I am like, oh shoot, like when is this blood going to pass? You know, I'm kind of like nervous about when it's going to happen. So Justin actually ended up, oh no, I went to the hospital on Saturday, not Sunday, because on Sunday Justin left for a week-long trip in California. So I'm glad we went to the hospital together beforehand. So on Sunday, you know, I was updating him. I was still bleeding, but I really wasn't bleeding near as much as I was Saturday, the day that I ended up going to the hospital. So I wasn't bleeding that much after that. And then I decided, even though I was really paranoid about like bleeding and passing this tissue, I decided to go to work on Monday because, like I told you, every time I stood up, blood was like gushing out, but when I was sitting down, nothing was happening. So I thought, okay, maybe I need to go to work. I need to be up, moving around, and something will happen. So I was, you know, prepared for the blood, and it didn't happen. And we had already had this pre-scheduled doctor's appointment for Tuesday, the next Tuesday, and I went with my mom. So when I was there, I told my doctor about what happened, and she did, you know, like an ultrasound. She checked, and there was still a little bit of blood left in there. There was still some tissue in there, but nothing had passed. So she did give me some medicine to actually make it pass, and honestly I know it did, but I can't even tell you when it happened. I kept trying, like, again, TMI, I kept trying to check the toilet, be like, what is this tissue mean? What is that supposed to look like? And it was such a small amount, it must have just looked like a blood clot to me. So I have no idea about actually passing that tissue. So my doctor was amazing. When we get pregnant again, I will absolutely go to her, and Justin and I have decided that we're going to start trying again right away. So I'm just waiting to get my period essentially, and then we'll be good to go when we can start. So that's what we are going to do. You know, part of me was like, oh, I wish I had a due date. I wish I had a gender, but at the same time, I think that would have made that so much harder for me because I would have already like planned out their life. I would have come up with a name. I would have visualized that person. So I'm glad that didn't happen. And, you know, unfortunately, because Justin and I cannot hold water to save our lives, you know, we told all of our family at Easter, guess what, we're pregnant, because we were so excited. And at that point, you know, we hadn't even gone to the doctor yet. I think we're going to the doctor a couple days later. We hadn't even gone to her the first time. So we told all of our family and just told a bunch of his friends, and I told some of my friends as well. We tried not to tell everyone. We didn't post it online, thank God, but we told quite a few people. So having to tell them we lost our baby really sucked as well. And, you know, Justin was kind of mad at himself for telling so many people, but I thought, hey, these are the people we would want to know we had a miscarriage anyway, that we would want for support and whatnot. So, you know, that was really sad. I called my mom and told her like right after it happened, and she was actually at like a yard sale, my family yard sale, with a bunch of my other family members. So she told them there. My sister went and told my dad. He told his parents. So, you know, that went around, and luckily I had only told 2 of my friends. So I told them, and probably the most comforting thing that happened to me this whole time is that, or like with this whole miscarriage, is that my best friend's mother passed away last year, and she told me that like my mom is in heaven holding your baby, and it was like the most comforting thing that anybody could have said in that moment, because what can you say? What can you say except I'm so sorry? Like, there's nothing you can say. And the one thing that was really nice, the doctor told us like 100 times, nothing is wrong with you guys, nothing is wrong with your body, you're not going to have trouble having babies in the future, this is more common than you realize. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get it, you know, my nerves, but I understand that a lot of people, probably especially women, take it personally, feel like something's wrong with their body, that this happened to them. But I feel like it just happens. And like, if she would have told me it's going to be very hard for you to conceive, you're not going to have babies ever, like, then I'd be really upset, and I am still really upset. But I think we worked really well together to try to heal from it, and we are ready to have another baby. Another thing that was very helpful and comforting during this time is that I listened to a ton of Britt Nicole worship music. I'll have her different CDs listed in the description box. I'll link the playlist for them, and I was just like crying in the car. But her music really helped me a lot. It was very touching to me. It made me feel like, you know, things happen for a reason and whatnot. So it helped me a lot. So like I said, I'll have her music linked down below. So that's really the main thing that was going on with me. And then I just didn't feel like doing anything for a while. But I don't want you guys to think that I'm over it. I didn't care. It didn't affect me at all, because it definitely did. But like I said, moving forward, we're going to try to have another baby. There are still times where I think about it, and like my best friend just had her baby and I went to go visit them, and I was so happy for her and so excited, and it made me excited to have a baby, but I didn't feel any kind of way. And I shouldn't feel any kind of way about my friends or other people that have babies, because again, I can have children. It just didn't work with this one, and maybe something would have been wrong. Maybe something about this baby was not meant to be born, because your body, I think, naturally knows when something is not going to work out, and you know, we'll try to get rid of things that might hurt you or your body. So, you know, I really think took it the best way I could. But you know, there are times when I think about it, like Sabrina recently posted a video about her being pregnant with another child and was talking about the gender and that with her body specifically. I think it was when she had a son, her skin was super clear, but when she had her daughter, she had a lot of acne, and I started to think, oh, maybe I would have had a girl. But then again, everybody's body is affected differently by pregnancy. But I have been breaking out like crazy right around this area, and I never have pimples on my cheeks. I'm still breaking out really badly. It's just not going away. I was so exhausted. I was going to bed at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I was so physically exhausted for like no good reason. And I did hear that it's like the first trimester you do have a lot of that, and then you kind of like settle into it in the second and whatnot. So yeah, the only things I was really having was that, of course, I was hungry, but mostly super exhausted all the time and a lot of acne. But yeah, so that's like the main life update for me that I wanted to tell you guys about. And you know, I did have a lot of other people reach out to me and tell me that they've also had miscarriages, people I know in my personal life. So that's really sad to know how common it is. Again, I never took it as something's wrong with me, something's wrong with my body, I've got some defect, nothing like that. I do understand that this is more common than people realize, but it is still definitely very sad. It's still something that I'm dealing with. But yeah, that's it for the life update part. Work is still absolutely insane. I'm not loving it, but it's just a phase, a period of time until we get fully staffed again. And some channel updates. So if you've noticed, I've recently taken several different series away from my channel and have changed a lot of things up. And when I went to go see Hannah and Lauren in LA, this is something that I had thought about, started talking about. I'll have that video linked up in the card so you can get a little rundown of what my trip was like to LA. But some of the things I decided to take away from my channel would be my Throwback Thursday videos, because I'm doing those hit it or quit it thoughts on hauls, and it feels a little bit repetitive talking about my favorites, and my favorites just aren't as fun to me. So I actually like every month dreaded filming that video for some reason and would put it off. So I just decided it's not necessary. I'm just going to continue to do my thoughts on hauls because it's one of my favorites, but I'm not going to do the Throwback Thursday. What else? I also decided to stop doing empties videos. I just posted my last empties ever, which I'll have linked in the cards. I did have several comments of people wanting me to continue them, and I understand why, but the reason I stopped doing them is because I do talk about those empties in makeup use-up videos and in my sample project pan videos. And I decided in my sample project pan is where I'm going to throw in any other hair, skin, or body empties. And I'm going to talk about all the makeup ones and the makeup use-up. I also decided that I'm not going to do monthly favorites anymore. I'm going to do seasonal favorites because, again, as much as I get new makeup and try new products, I don't have a ton of things each month. So I think that is what I'm going to stick to, is the seasonal favorites. I also haven't done monthly makeup baskets since the beginning of the year. And you guys know I've been doing those forever. I still do them myself, but I just haven't been posting them. Let me know up in the poll question above, do you want me to continue monthly makeup baskets or not? I don't know how fun it is when I'm mostly including project pan items, because I will always be panning. So those are a lot of the changes I've seen. So as you can tell, there's a lot of things that I've taken away that I used to do every month. So I would love to know from you guys, what are your video requests? What should I replace those videos with? And I've got some ideas for things. I want to do more reviews. I know reviews don't get the views, but that's what I love, is testing and reviewing products. So I want to get back into that, and I really am going to try to take some inspiration from other creators like Samantha March and Kelly Gooch and really look at their videos, the way that they structure them, the different kind of topics they do their videos on. So I would love to know any video suggestions you guys have in the comments down below. That would be really appreciated. As you all can tell, I am still quite behind on my videos. I am trying to catch up, so you will notice that, like, I just posted my April haul and it's June now, so like I'm behind, but I'm trying to catch up. I'm filming all my Project Pan updates on time though, to make sure I'm accurately tracking just a month's worth of progress. So they're being posted later, but they're being filmed on time. So yes, that's basically my life update. I had a miscarriage and I would like your video suggestions because I have decided to stop doing several different things on my channel. So I would really appreciate some feedback from you all, and I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I apologize if I was a little too graphic, but I really wanted to explain to you what I experienced, and I appreciate all of your love and support. Like I said, it meant so much to me that you guys were asking me if I was okay, that you were telling me that you missed me in my videos. That meant a lot to me because I realize I have a small following and that I'm one of 50 million people on YouTube who makes makeup videos. So the fact that you guys watch me and watch me enough to miss me or realize I've been gone means a lot. So thank you all so much for watching this video and all of my other videos, and I am going to give back to you guys soon. I will be doing a giveaway in the upcoming week, so get excited for that. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I've said that 100 times. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.